Finally, the long-awaited Black Widow solo movie's here, and it's nothing short of a perfect tribute to our very own Natasha Romanoff. During all the Avenger movies, Natasha had to battle her way into the spotlight in the middle of gods and enhanced humans. Now, she finally has the whole stage to herself to flex all her badass skills, and boy does she make good use of it. From chemically subjugated soldiers to dead pigs and vests with pockets, this movie's the perfect mash of thrill, action, humour, and with generous amounts of Natasha's vivid character. So while you're at it, I request you'll contribute to my Patreon while also giving me a follow on Twitter. The links are in the description box below. Without further ado, let's check out the top 10 best moments from the Black Widow movie. Kicking off this list is the scene of the two defected widows making an escape from the wired-in widows. Just minutes earlier, these two were literally choking each other. More info on that coming up. Now, the best assassin in Dreykov's team is working with a runaway Avenger. Nothing like a common enemy to bring people together now, is there, right? Of course, sisters being sisters, they bicker all the way through. Natasha was always one for cutthroat comments, so imagine when there's an angrier, more sarcastic one thrown into the mix. Okay, their teamwork could use a bit of practice, but between the two of them, they managed to hold off the swarm of widows and that creepy mishmash of Iron Man, Captain America and Winter Soldier. This scene is a great way of showing the audience a sneak peek into what Natasha was up against in this movie. The dedicated widows combined with the deadly Taskmaster set up a force to reckon with, but it also brought in the endearing human side of Natasha and mashed it perfectly against Dreykov, who sees the girls as nothing more than tools.
It's a shit plan. Welcome.
For the Stranger Things fans out there, seeing Chief Hopper tattooed with a glinting gold tooth may be a little bit jarring, but no one could have been better to play this hunky ball of emotions with a messed up moral compass. I mean, he genuinely believes that having a ledger gushing red is somehow a thing to be proud of. No moment with Alexei is ever boring, be it his droning tales of glory days, half of it which is made up himself, or whether he's trying to be a doting father. The prison break is where we see him after 21 years, and boy, what a fall from grace. By their second mission together, Natasha and Yelena had brushed up on their teamwork, but Natasha wastes no time in flexing a few superhero poses, because why not save the world and annoy your sister at the same time? What I love about this scene is how everything goes so terribly off plan from the very start, but it works out in the best way possible. Guess that's what you call failing successfully.
Oh, I'm so proud of you girls. Oh, you can't hear me, huh? Wow. Oh, Johnny, oh!
Maybe you'd like a shot at the man responsible for your sister's death.
The post-credit scene jumps to a post-endgame time after all the dust from Thanos' snap has finally settled. It's a beautiful scene where she's laid to rest under a tree, like her mother in a laid-back neighborhood. A chilled-out version of Yelena enters with that dog that she desperately wanted to get. For a second, I even dared to think that she might have moved on and been living a normal life now. But God forbid a trained soldier retiring, no offense Captain America. Then enters Valentina, who achieves the usual post-credit confusion. Not only has Yelena not moved on from her assassination days, but she may also be on the wrong side of the fight. But let's face it, after that killing spree, Clint was bound to have a bounty on his head. For a character who literally threw her life for the sake of the entire universe, Natasha's honor was a long time in coming. And though we might not be blowing our brains out like Valentina, the scene is a definite tearjerker and a perfect final wave of goodbye. So while Natasha tries to make Dreykov spill his trade secrets and get her nose smashed to pieces, Melina was busy executing the rest of their plan. This scene has all the awesome climax feelings Marvel brings in. Poor Alexei, with zero clue on what's going on as always, ends up bearing his soul to the wrong woman in his life, and they didn't even give him an earpiece. For the first time in Natasha and Yelena's life, their appointed parents are finally acting like their actual parents and taking their side. This is definitely a huge move from sacrificing your children to become secret soldiers. For the first time, Melina and Alexei are finally putting in the effort to save the girls' lives. I love the dynamic in this scene with Yelena trying out Natasha's poses to confirm that they are absolutely repulsive, Red Guardian getting his ass kicked, and Melina blowing everything up to high heavens. Also, can someone please let Melina know that completely demolishing an engine and crashing is not a slight change of plans from a safe landing?
Melina, this is the last time that we... Damn it.
You have nothing.
There are 50 people on this planet.
Oh, stop it!
Don't tell me to stop!
Damn it, you're weak.
From the very first Avengers movie, Natasha proved that her interrogation skills were unbeatably good, not to mention super fun to watch. From the Russian mafia to the god of mischief, Natasha can squeeze intel out of almost anyone. For the dedicated Marvel fans, it's definitely a moment to say when she lands her iconic line,
Thank you for your cooperation.
classic mic drop Natasha. And that's how the audience knows that the game's over and Natasha's taken home the trophy. Another thing this scene reveals is just how petty Dreykov's ego is. He always saw Natasha as some prized possession, and the thought of her mocking his insignificance got on his nerves. I mean, all it took was to call his plans pathetic. It ticked him off so much that he showed her his entire database just to prove his worth. He even admits that it's all done from the console on his desk. No wonder Natasha couldn't keep her grins in. In the end, it's just petty pride and a deluded sense of security that finally got Dreykov exposed. Not that we're complaining.
Family. Back together again.
Family reunions. That one time when everyone pretends to like each other. And this family doesn't even pretend they like each other. Well, except for Melina and Alexei, of course, who seem to have actually fallen for each other during their family setup. Naturally, after not seeing your kids for so long, the parents are eager to impress. While Alexei painstakingly squeezes into his old costume, Melina, dry and blunt as ever, reduces him to an enhanced pig. No offense, Alexei, but there's a slight resemblance. Jokes aside, this was one of the emotion-heavy scenes in this movie. It's odd to see how the very people who gave the kids to a concentration camp are now trying desperately to keep up the family act. You can't really ask your fake grown-up daughters not to slouch anymore, Melina. It also gives a peek into Yelena's mind. For the most part, she stays quiet during the whole hoo-ha. But when she snaps, she wastes no time in putting shards in everyone by gushing out on just how much the family they were trashing meant to her.
Good boy, Alexei. Good boy.
You named the pig after me?
You don't see the resemblance?
He takes more every day, just like us when we were small. Maybe 1 in 20 survives the training, becomes a widow, the rest he kills.
Now, here's a reunion that went way better. But then again, it might be because they let out their frustrations early by choking each other. Who knows? Either way, this is the first time we see uptight little Yelena get a little sentimental. From talking about enslaved girls, she awkwardly turns the conversation onto the family she never had. This is a moment of truth for the fans, since in Endgame, Natasha revealed that she didn't know her father's name. Not that there's much to know, since she barely knows anything except a piece of false info. Yelena speaking about her reinvented life is a total sucker punch, especially because we know just how Natasha's life ends without her getting to live that life her sister wanted to have. It also shows that even though Yelena was knife-throwing mad at Natasha for not checking up on her, she also never stopped caring for her either. Also, Natasha obviously liked the vest way more than she let on, since she clearly wore it to the fight of the century in Infinity War. Who was I kidding when I settled to watch Natasha leading a peaceful life of a runaway for just about 5 minutes? But I mean, come on, she deserves a few minutes of peace now, doesn't she? But then comes strutting a super soldier out of her head, or so it seems. For those of you who were confused when this evil Frankenstein version of the Avengers attacked Natasha, you weren't the only one. The Taskmaster made his appearance in comics way back in 1980, but the Taskmaster in Black Widow is completely different and is the daughter of Dreykov, who was caught up with this assassination attempt. Of course, Dreykov wired his daughter as well, making her his personal soldier. Needless to say, the action and the one-on-one combat in this scene is one of the best in the entire movie. And yet again, Natasha proves her deadly skill. One thing I love about this scene is how Natasha has zero clue on who's attacking her, why she's being attacked, or what those vials are. It's almost like she says, if you want that box, I want it too.
That one, she has fire in her. What was her name?
Natasha.
Spindly, tough, with crimson hair peeking out through the blue, we didn't need Alexei to tell her name to know that it was little Natasha. An assassin in training, Natasha had some idea about the horrors in the Red Room. Natasha's ginormous heart is what kept the Avengers going. Her fierce protective ways and her tough care are what made so many people fall in love with her character. And Marvel so craftily spun her backstory, giving little Natasha every bit of the love and courage in the Natasha that we knew. The scene also betrays Alexei's true feelings for the girls. Although the family was fake and he knew that they'd be taken away someday, Alexei was obviously heartbroken to see his girls crying in fear. This incident is also what puts Natasha on Dreykov's radar. These girls were his assets, and a girl with such fire could do wonders for him as part of his Widow army. The scene sets the stage for all the incidents to come while creating the perfect backstory for the beloved Black Widow in a few amazing minutes.
What happened?
She fell on her knee.
Oh, you bumped your knee?
You're okay. Come on. You're a brave girl. Your pain only makes you stronger. Right, you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So we're gonna talk like grown-ups?
Topping off our list of top awesome moments from this long-awaited movie is the good old sisters fight. This is the best combat scene in the entire movie. Guns, knives, fists, curtains, anything's a weapon in the hands of the two deadliest ex-widows. As usual, Natasha doesn't want to hurt anyone, but she most certainly will if she has to. But one thing's absolutely clear, none of them were fighting to kill. It's almost like Yelena was taking out her frustrations while Natasha was just trying to live through it. Natasha, just having left a gigantic superhero family feud, most certainly didn't want to spend her time trying to dodge her sister's knife blows. But hey, red glowing vials scream emergency. Whatever the case, this scene reveals one of Natasha's best qualities, that she's there whenever her family needs her, and she's literally willing to go the distance and call a truce to make things work. Anybody notice the glint in Natasha's eyes during the gun standoff with Yelena? I'd say that she was enjoying herself thoroughly. Nothing like bullying your little sister now, is there?
This thing that you do when you whip your hair and you do like a fighting pose.
You're a total poser.
Not a poser.
Guns, arrows, car chasing, master planning, family fights. This movie has all of it in Black Widow style. From humour to heart-trending tearjerkers, this movie is one hell of a roller coaster ride, the perfect exit for the legendary Black Widow. Which of these was your favourite? And do you think Yelena will take up the Black Widow mantle? Comment below with your thoughts. Also, consider contributing to my Patreon and like and share and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.